been a massive issue for a lot of teams to deal with. So it does kind of make sense to dedicate a pick to that.
It would. Seems like they're going to be very reliant on Dreamcall or Lasso to, or even Overgrowth, of course, from DY to really cancel that black hole off. But I guess that's not really what the hero's for this game. Like, it's not really going to matter if he ever uses black hole. It's just the Eidolons and Helm of Dominator on the Enigmas. Basically, going to be all they want anyway. So, if it wasn't the Enigma, we know it would have been the Beastmaster. 100%, they would have gone Beastmaster. That probably would have been the much preferred pick for Faith Beyond this time. But we'll see what he can get done with this Enigma pickup. Of course, John, I do have to bring up some odds, and things have gotten a lot closer in Game 3. Vici Gaming still the favorites going to this third game. And you know what? I don't even blame them for choosing Vici as the favorites. Like, considering both Game 1 and 2 were very, very clowny drafts, the fact that they even pulled one off and almost made a comeback in the second one, it kind of makes sense that you would view Vici as the favorites. But I got to tell you, from this draft, from EHOME, I'm not sure how much you could really say they're the favorites, because this is it's the Lycan. It's just such a potent hero right now.
Definitely. It's the Lycan, it's the Enigma, it's the DK, it's the Jakiro, it's all this push in one draft. And the answers are there from VG. They do have good wave clear. They do have good control. I just don't reckon that's enough because of the sheer amount of damage that EHOME can toss out onto these towers. And even if VG do win those fights, we're looking at the same situations before. They don't quite push these towers fast. I guess a bristleback that right-clicks fast can kind of melt those towers. Still not going to be the fastest times, for VG. The same issue they had in Game 1 and Game 2. They just do not push as fast as EHOME. They do have ways of slowing it down with the Treant as well. They've got that living armor to heal these towers up to just kind of slow that pace down a bit more.
Well, I love this little build here from Yang with his item build. He's just one set of tangos, but 3 mangoes and a clarity. So very early on, already kind of indicating how aggressive he intends to be in this lane. We'll have PYW there on the puck to support. It's going to be important. Like, you've got to slow down this Lycan, otherwise they just go nuts. It's the only way. You just shut him down so hard in lane and then follow him in the jungle and just make sure he doesn't feel comfortable there either. They are going to meet him, PYW. Going to have the unfortunate experience of getting bitten by wolves. Be okay. Meanwhile, bot, you have SyncQ there. With Y just hanging up, making sure they can secure those bottom bounty runes. Sylar is going to still move forward, trying to find the top bounty rune himself. He does actually manage to find it, so PYW does not manage to get one of those top bounty runes, and that will be a 3-for-1 trade.
Yeah, nice little start for EHOME. That's going to allow them to get a little bit more, especially in that mid lane, although I don't think the DK is going to need too much help. He does have his stick up. Is going to take a little bit of EXP to get tanky up against this Bat Rider, but overall it should just be a farm trade, as long as Nothing to Say doesn't overextend.
Easier said than done, though. That sticky napalm. It's going to be very hard for Nothing to Say to actually get in range to farm anything. Seems like he's going to be very, very reliant on the breathe fire. 5 stacks up now, already just getting him up. Very oily situation here for Nothing to Say. Yeah, he is running slow. Still coming in though, like 4 last hits on the DK. Considering, how much of this he's gonna have to put up with, he's having an alright time. He's still finding the CS. In fact, he finds the range creep as well. Up at top lane, why? Try to make sure Yang doesn't feel too confident on this bristleback up at top. Already though, Y has expended all his mana, just spamming Jewel Breath on the BB, and Yang is... Well, he has gone through his whole set of tangos. The Sylar now going to join in, and that is a very unlucky stun on Yang. those neutral creeps, just stunning him up, and now Yang gonna get chased down by Sylar. Looks like that'll be enough for Sylar. But they've left Yang with no regen and hardly any HP. They will give him a self from PYW.
Not the best spot to be in as a bristleback. Normally, you'd want to secure a first kill with your set of tangos and just kind of reset. It does look like Yang is kind of holding back. He doesn't want to take that massive risk, because the moment you give space to the Lycan, as we all know, he's just going to take over. So it's a much more patient lane for the bristleback, much more happy with just trading evenly or as evenly as possible, rather than playing super aggressive.
He hasn't used any of those mangoes yet. Slowly spamming quill sprays over to Sylar, but the Pharaoh Impulse, like at level 1 now you get 2 HP regen on top of your base HP regen. Just kind of feels like Sylar can sit back a little bit and just regen up that HP and use the Wolves instead to farm CS. Pretty much what he's been doing. Yang now gonna get surrounded. Sylar may want to go for a kill attempt, but those quills starting to stack up quite a bit too much, and Sylar looks like he doesn't really need much added regen because he will have the living armor coming in from the Treant Protector. In fact, he's diving right now. Sylar is starting to fall low. Wolves are there to block. Yang is not done. He keeps moving. Sylar will turn around now on the bristleback, and Yang will have to TP out. He's only got 1 mango left and doesn't actually have enough mana to TP, so he will just eat a tango and walk himself out.
Dicey situation for that top lane. Although overall, at the very least, Yang is still finding farm. He's not slowing down that Lycan. And that's really gonna be the key issue, that Sylar is basically finding as much farm as he wants. Right? No matter how tough this lane is.
Go again, why? Gonna take a bit of harassment from PYW. They slow Sylar down a little bit. He misses a couple CS, but still going to be fine. Still going to be perfectly fine to farm under this tier 1 tower. Why now? Going to be chased by Yang. Nasal Goo is going to be available, but once again, Y will just salve up. And Yang will just kind of be forced to be as efficient as he possibly can with this farm. He has got a Soul Ring up at least, so you do have that for mana purposes, but Y is actually doing a lot of damage now. An arrow comes in from Xin right to the face of Yang. And that will be the first blood going over to the way of EHOME.
Yeah, not the best of starts for Vici. Really nice clean pick off for EHOME. Of course, that does relieve some of that pressure on Sylar as well. And, you know, while all that was happening, Xin anyway was just kind of farming up in that jungle, soaking some EXP up for himself, not draining anything out from these lanes. So you're still seeing good progression on the side lanes. You're still seeing decent progression on your Mirana as well. One thing to talk about that we haven't really taken a look at is that bot lane. Eurus up against Fate Beyond. Fate Beyond has not had the best of times just staying in that lane, 12 to 10 compared to our Void Spirits 32 to 3. So Eurus definitely winning out in that lane matchup still. This is the point when Enigma just kind of goes to the jungle though. And he's not really going to be contested by what Vici has.
You say that, but TY is starting to run in now. The Treant can be a little bit frustrating. You have that Nature's Guys and just sit in the trees soaking XP and trying to steal CS, and he will get one. Large Centaur creep does go down to DY. And, you know, every time he does that, although it doesn't seem like a big deal, it really is for an Enigma player. Like, Faith Beyond's going to be very frustrated with that, though. Never mind that, because mid lane, that mid Bat Rider going to end up getting taken down. And it was a 3-hero rotation from EHOME. But it's pretty important to find that kill, and nothing to say, going to be very satisfied.
Definitely. They have rotated Xin a couple of times already to no avail, so just finding that kill in the end does pay off. They forced a rotation out from PYW to try to stop that as well, to no real great effect. So just a bit of time wasted from VG supports, and of course losing that bat is a pretty big deal, because he needs to try to keep a pace there.
Yang again, John, being chased down, does get taken out. He is getting a lot of CS, right? He's essentially resetting every time this happens. But I don't think you really want to die like that, as bot lane, Faith Beyond now. Astral Steps from Eurus should be enough to take him out. Eurus at that level 6. does hit the power spike and does find a very nice kill on the core Enigma.
Yeah, that's one thing that Vici is at least getting a lot out of, is that bot lane. Again, Eurus has pretty much not been contested on that Void Spirit, so they should be able to hit their timings on that hero. Yang, he's been really diving hard to try to get those creeps and to try to shut down that jungle. He is being scouted out by some pretty good deep wards now to make sure that movement doesn't happen. And even at level 6 with his damage, he can't stop any TPs out. So Sylar going to be completely fine from all that damage and just TPs to mid, goes to that jungle to continue to farm up.
He's already got the Helm of Dom up, so you can almost expect EHOME to start grouping up and going for a T1 push soon. You also have the Necromonicon book coming out from Faith Beyond. He actually hasn't opted for a Helm of Dom. So going straight for that Necro 1 book, and I mean, it makes enough sense. It's going to help him farm a lot faster as well. Because they already have started mid, though. Nothing to say. He's going to get jumped by Eurus, and now Arrow going to come in from Sin-Q onto that Batrider, and Ori is falling low. Lasso, though, is going to be there onto the Lycan. Silas starting to fall low and is forced to run out. And neither mid laner actually dies. Nothing to say, though. We'll go back in. Does show himself and almost taunts them, daring them to come back. But nobody does die.
Yeah, it's just a lot of sustain from
Eurus,
both sides, I think. Oh.
I mean, it was bound to happen eventually. Astral Step does come off cooldown. Eurus going to take a fair bit of damage, but Sin-Q does get silenced, can't get the arrow out, and Eurus will get away with murder.
Yeah, nice clean kill going the way of VG. Did take a while to get that done, but just a little bit too long there in that fight. Nothing to say, just kind of testing his luck, and does kind of pay for that, at the very least. Not much to really follow up off of that. And still, VG gonna be happy with that nice clean kill. And the game continues to be really focused on just farming up. You see a lot of heroes just pulling back, playing it safe, building up. I think it's gonna be a little bit more until we see a lot more activity on the map. I think a couple of key items still have to come out. Of course, again, you already have that Dominator in your Lycan. He did expend a Shapeshift earlier on. And we do see Faith Beyond being much more active with his Necro books up. Could see a push going down bot.
Well, it looks like they're going to try, but Eurus, he just jumps in straight onto Faith. Now, Faith does have Black Hole. You have to be a little more cautious about how you approach this up against EHOME, as they do have plenty of damage to output during the Black Hole. And Sin-Q going to move in. DY shows himself in the tree line. And, well, Midnight Pulse going to be there. Faith Beyond going to chase with the Malefice. DY back in the other tree line, though Ice Path will connect, and now Sylar will make the jump onto DY, but here comes Yang trying to fight this out as Faith. He's getting jumped by Eurus and does die. Now the Shapeshift is there. It's a 1-for-1, but it's certainly a better for the Vici gaming side as Y actually getting out for now, but Ori will finally go finish the job off, and EHOME will find nothing out of that push attempt.
Yeah, they do manage to get the responses out from VG, but it does cost them their offlaner. At the very least, they managed to find that kill. Shapeshift, once again, being expended to no avail. No towers being taken just yet by EHOME. Really rather surprising considering this draft.
They ping out Faith Beyond top lane. They have started making their way back up. Ori, he has the lasso. Faith spots him out, but Ori is on the chase, and he seems to run a lot faster, and Faith tries to turn around now with the Black Hole and the Midnight Pulse, and he is going to find the kill, but here comes Eurus. Ice Path, though, going to be there from Y, but the Astral Step, the Dream Coil, Faith does go down, but he does find a mid-Batrider kill.
Yeah, I think that's a fairly even trade overall. Like, sure, EHOME does manage to find that Batrider. They did expend the Black Hole as well. That's a really long cooldown, and you would just want to use that spell, get it out of the way. It does kind of cost him his life there, so I'd say fairly even overall for both sides. Not going to be too happy if you're EHOME. Not going to be too upset as well, as that does go the way of VG, so they're going to be happy that Eurus was around to get that kill. Slowly building up on this Void Spirit. Number 1 in that fort. Really good spot to be in, at the very least. Matching the Lycan for now. So we're not seeing that takeover by the hero just yet.
Ice Path Why? Just trying to delay out this tier 1 push up at the top lane. Trying to buy time for Sylar, who's also pushing in the bottom lane. Sylar, a bit of an interesting take on the Lycan. Every other Lycan we've seen doesn't bother going for any form of boots, but Sylar does go directly for treads. I suppose it does help with the added attack speed and stats, but it's not really something I'm too used to seeing on Lycans anymore. It almost feels like it defeats the purpose.
I reckon there's justification for it simply because it does give him just a bit more to run away with. You know, like there is a lot of high mobility heroes here on the side of Vici, and he does kind of need to step his way around. So I can see a little bit of value in that item coming out a bit earlier than you'd expect.
Moonlight Shadow going to be popped. Why? He's going to be in trouble up at that top lane, but the Moonlight will save him. Problem is, Vici is the one pushing towers down. And EHOME is attempting to respond by forcing in the bot lane again, but DY is going to be there to protect that, and Yang is just freely hitting this tier 2 tower, though now nothing to say. When the Shadow Blade comes in, they do get the Midnight Pulse, and Yang suddenly melts very, very quick. It's that Midnight Pulse, it's a lot of damage. The Bristleback doesn't seem to be able to deal with it very well.
No, definitely not. That did take a rather large commitment of 4 heroes to clear out that Bristleback, so that does open up the map once more. This is going to allow Sylar to perhaps find DY, although...
Sylar. He got blocked by his own creeps. And had his hero gotten close enough, he would have gotten the kill, but that's an unfortunate one.
Definitely. It's... You really need every single thing you can get here, EHOME. They still have the lead, 5-6, 3k advantage at around 14 minutes in. They've gotten 2 tier 1s. You expect a bit more off the map already, right? Like, again, they've got the DK, they've got the Enigma, they've got that Lycan, they've got the Jakiro as well to mount these objectives. They have been kind of playing a bit slower paced, showing a bit of respect to the potential that Vici does have. This is allowing Vici to play farming, though. Yang is building up quite nicely on his Bristleback. Eurus as well on his Faceless, on his Void Spirit is also starting to build up quite nicely.
He's going to have his Deso up soon on this Void Spirit. He already has a really high base damage on this hero. And the Deso's up. The heroes do really start to melt every time he makes that Astral Step happen. And in fact, he does have it now. The Mithril Hammer is on the way to finish it off. BG Gaming, they may just go for an immediate smoke after this. I don't really see a smoke available in anyone quite yet, but... No, there it is. PYW had one. Who do they find, though? Moonlight Shadow is going to be there from EHOME. Perfect timing from them. Vici going to run straight into the DK, and smoke should be broken, but nothing to say. He's not invis anymore. Ori, though, makes it obvious with the sticky napalm. He's still going to make this chase, but it's going to be underneath the tier 2, and it looks like they won't bother. Instead, they'll see Synq up top. Ori, Dream Coil is going to be expended. He runs towards his tier 3 tower, but there's just way too much burst coming out from Eurus. Bot lane being pushed in by Sylar. So they don't in fact really finish off the tier 2 top. Instead they defend the bot tier 2. Looks like they left the Bristleback over to try and get that job done, but he doesn't either. And so no objectives really going down.
Yeah, it's again, still a very dead set, even game from both sides. A lot of caution from both sides now in Game 3. Of course, you kind of understand that mindset. They do have roughly similar timings, and I believe Vici just doesn't want to give EHOME the space to melt these towers, so they will always opt for the defense, which will slow down their own push. And, you know, of course, slowing down EHOME's push as well. So it's going to be a while until both sides are going to be really confident for that. I think one thing to watch out for is Eurus's Lincolns. He was queuing up the Ags earlier on. Does switch out to the Lincolns just to give himself a bit more of a defensive sway there. Just allow him to dive a bit further. And once that's up, there should be a lot more forward movement from Eurus at the very least.
What is he blocking exactly, though?
DK stun, Malphus, perhaps the Yule's combo from Sin Q once it's up.
I suppose so. The Yule's is quite scary into the arrow, like, it does hurt
that's
quite
a big
bit.
one. And since he isn't going for that Yule's build himself, you know, he's going to need something to help him cope once he's far forward. Gives him pretty decent stats as well, just at the very least a little bit more padding on that HP.
Well, we saw EHOME. They made a rotation down bot, trying to find Ori on the Batrider, but they don't get that as DY was there to slow them down and kind of save the day. And although they have this net worth lead, it's just not how you expect a Lycan draft to run. It's when you have this much push, you expect a little bit more, but perhaps with Faith Beyond's new pipe coming up, that might be the key to go. VG are showing top. However, they have run underneath the Sentry Ward. So now it's very obvious that the Moonlight Shadow's up, and looks like VG, they won't play around. They're going to back off, play it safe. Mid lane, I can't say the same thing though. Ori has been caught by Sylar. That'll be another nice pickup coming out from EHOME, but will it lead to an objective?
No. Doesn't look like. They're not in position for a push just yet. VG is playing really far forward up here top. They might get caught out, but it doesn't look like the response is fast enough from EHOME. So again, we are at a bit of an impasse, besides just kind of playing it safe, playing it cautiously. We have seen this from Lycans before, though. Like, I believe it is actually Sylar who tends to go this kind of pace with a Lycan. He waits until perhaps something like the AC up until he starts to get really aggressive. Beyond that, it's mainly just a poke game when he plays the Lycan. At least in my recollection when we cast EHOME before.
Yeah. Does tend to play it a little bit slower. Now Vici, with the Heaven's Halberd up on their bristleback, they want to start moving forward again. Ori looking for a lasso opportunity. He'll take the outpost, but Ice Path and Arrow are going to connect. There will be no follow-up to those. And Vici again will just kind of maintain control over this dire side jungle, forcing EHOME out. EHOME, they'll go ahead and take the outpost down bot and basically push out the bot wave. And both teams, again, they're just going to keep pushing out these opposing top and bot lanes. Just trying to force each other back.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I guess it's hard to know who it really favors, because it seems like EHOME does have the better late game in the DK Lycan. Plus, you have an Enigma, so you know you never want to really underestimate how valuable Black Hole can be, no matter what stage of the game it is. And now they do show up bot, so perhaps it's time to get those trades going. But Vici, they do TP down, and EHOME will. They don't want to play with this fire, or maybe they do. Moonlight Shadow is there, Shapeshift as well. Lasso is on Faith Beyond, but it will do nothing. Now Dreamcore coming out. They'll just wait it out. As Sylar is looking for a target right now. Well, is he? Hiding back, nothing to say, moving forward. Ice Path is going to land on the Void Spirit. That's the main target they want, though. Huge overgrowth from DY. But do you have the follow-up? Well, it'll be Yang moving forward in the front lines, but he's been broken up and now slowing up. Can they find the kill? Ice Path is there, onto 2 from Y, but he's still a very, very tanky target. And Faith is still holding onto that black hole, just waiting for the right opportunity. Ice Path does get the Void Spirit. Faith, he could go for this, but Arrow connects, he doesn't need to. In fact, he's been silenced anyway. PYW moving forward. Now he'll orb away, but they have caught out Yang. And with those kills, they will be able to secure this bot tier 2.
Yeah, I like seeing that patience coming out from EHOME. It took them a while to get that fight fully under control, but once they do, there's no tools left now on VG to try to defend this one. No Overgrowth, no Lasso, no Dream Coil, although that will be up in a while, but they've still got the Black Hole on EHOME's side.
Yeah, I mean, Dreamcore is now up, but the black hole is the scary one for Vici Gaming, and that Rax just melts. And this is why you don't allow a Lycan to make it through, though. They do jump in, they lose PYW. He'll buy back immediately, but EHOME, they came what they, well, they got what they came for. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why Lycan's a little bit broken right now.
Yeah, he really gets that push going quite fast. The moment you lose just a little bit, you give a bit of a step away, Lycan will take your entire leg. So, it is a bit reminiscent of game 1 with EHOME, game number 2 with EHOME. I mean, they just melt that bottom racks after one bad fight for VG. They can't take any other high ground objectives as that tier 2 down mid is still up and the tier 1 up top is still up. Still, VG trying to smoke up to find something themselves. They've got the blink on Ori.
But you are still fighting into a black hole. They do have their ultis up, though, on the side of Vici Gaming, so they want to make use of it. Dust popped by Ori, trying to find a target, but doesn't quite get the one he wanted, which was Nothing to Say. Faith Beyond now as well is saving up for the blink. And that's the point where you really have to watch out as to where he's positioning himself. CQ gonna lead forward, does get a use off onto the BB, but doesn't have an angle for the arrow, but still the Silver Edge break will be there with the Ice Path and the Midnight Pulse. Yang not dead yet, but is certainly dropping and does eventually die. And Nothing to Say now pops the Dragon Form. He wants to keep going. They won't have an option for a hero, but they do have the Roshan.
It's going to be a very fast take coming out from EHOME. At the very least, VG, if they wanted to contest, they do have the Overgrowth, but that Roche is not going to be alive for too long.
CQ, arrow does connect. They found PYW. And so now that that steal potential you would have loved to see from the puck is not there, they're going to have to rely on the Batrider or the Void Spirit, but now Nothing to Say. He found Ori, and that's a lot of damage coming out. One by one, Vici Gaming march in, and one by one they fall. But they have bought a little bit of space for Eurus to push out that top lane. He does get a creep wave to that tier 3, but in all honesty, it looks like EHOME don't care.
No. No, definitely not. Like, Eurus can apply some good damage there. He does have the Desolator up, so the tower is going to cop it. But at this point, EHOME's just going to take pretty much the rest of their 2 racks. At this
Eurus
point.
isn't backing off. He's just... He understands they can't defend. He's going to go for this push while Overgrowth is going to buy time. He is now on the Raxes, but down in the mid lane, they found Yang again. Yang with no buyback, and they call GG! That's it!
Alright.
I mean...
EHOME just bouncing in with the Lycan draft. Finally making push of that great push.
It's...
And VG just had no answer.
You can't... I mean, this guy...